Tell me when.
Go.
Good. Welcome to the Union Spiritual Center, Pflugerville. And today we're talking about gratitude and appreciation. However, I want to get it together. Today's Mother's Day. Congratulations. Happy Mother's Day. Okay? And if you think about mother, I think about creation. Okay? And you stop and think about this. Everything in our physical universe has a beginning and an end. I'll say it again. Everything has a beginning and an end. And nature is created so that it continues, but it continues in a new event. So a tree grows. That's why we love this, from a little acorn. And then the tree grows and creates a big oak, yes? But then what does the oak create? Other acorns. So life goes on in different forms and continually forming itself. So creation is the beginning, a seed, if you will. We look at the flowers here, and we're going to hand them out because we always share flowers on Mother's Day. But the idea behind it is, what good is a rose? Stop and think about that flower. Why is it here? Where did it come from? What is its purpose? Can you eat a rose? No. Oh, you could, I guess. You eat the petals, okay. But the idea behind it is, what is it here for? It's here to be beautiful. It's here to share. It's here for your enjoyment. It's spirit saying, hi there, look at me. And everything has a seed. Everything. Stop and think about it. This tablecloth is made, I don't know, from fiber that came from a plant, right? Or from an animal, or whatever. But it had a seed, started. And then somebody had to have an idea, and somebody took and weaved it together and created this. However, did it exist in the beginning? No. It was a seed of thought in somebody's mind that created that tablecloth. Look around you. The chair you're sitting on was created through thought. It hasn't, as far as I know, it hasn't been around forever and ever. It was created out of your thought, which is the creative energy that we call mother, or the creative energy of the world. Okay? And I want you to get that. Everything has a beginning, everything has a seed, everything is perfect, and there is a purpose for everything that comes together. And unfortunately, we are told that's not true for us. So what divinity created you as a seed? Where did you come from? What were you doing before you showed up here? Where are you going? You know, there's all these crazy questions. And nobody ever over it's a mystery. Well, I'm told that the kingdom of heaven is within. We're here to express God. And we're here to have fun and enjoy it. It's the Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom, is what I've been told. And that's not just in Christianity, that's in other religions. So, anybody agree we're kind of off target? So let's look at the idea of this seed and why it's important to be grateful and appreciate who we are and what we are. The first thing to appreciate is, anybody agree? Stop and think about it. The acorn that made that tree is to be appreciated and be thankful for. So there's a spirit within you that is creative, creating your world through thought and activities and what you speak. Now, one of the issues here is we've been created divine and we've forgotten who we are. So it seems to be running through all. You know, we're trying to get back to the Father's house. So the issue here is, what can we do to get back to the Father's house? What can we do to become that pure substance of divinity that we really are? And it's just relearning, and relearning that we are the seed of all good. Okay? So, stop and think about it. We're living in a world which seems to be incomplete, but we're told that we are complete and whole just as we are. So you know, I look at the rose. Okay, I'll pull one out. It's kind of fun. See, look at it. You know, when you talk about the rose petals, you can eat them. They even have smell. It's not as good in today's roses as it used to be, but you know, stop and think about it. What is the purpose of that rose? And where did it come from? And you really want to take it far. This was probably raised somewhere in Central America. You know, they bring it in airplane every week. So this is a divinity saying, here I am, look at me. And here's an appreciation of who I am. And you are the same. You're complete and whole just as you are. You're here to make a difference, and you're here to share your skill, whatever that skill is. Might be guitars, might be singing, it might be knowing how to hook up with Zoom, I don't know. Whatever it is. We all have a purpose to be here. Now, what I'm finding and what the connection is, that we're here to express ourselves. We're here to talk. We're here to appreciate. We're here to love. Okay. And when we get off center on that, that's when the issues occur. So think about it. Why are we really here? Are we here to complain? I don't like it that way. Law of attraction says whatever you think about, whatever you talk about is what you create. So, what I want you to do is get this. Because I've been reading, it's like, oh, goodness, it's all my fault. But if I look at it, really, praise and appreciation creates more what? Things to praise and be appreciated about. So if something, anybody get annoyed when things are late? Or anybody get annoyed when traffic holds you up? Anybody get annoyed when somebody doesn't do what you want them to do? And all you want to do is have them love you. Oh. And we're in that victim state all the time, creating what? More victim. Now, Romans 8:28 says, for all things, for everything that happens for the good. Okay? Which is counterintuitive to what I'm being told out here. So, see, this rose, there's been nobody to talk to it and tell it it's not a rose. There's been nobody to talk to it and tell it that it should be white or it should be pink. Now, there are people who get together and get other colors, but this is a red rose, agree? So what did it grow up to be? A red rose. Can it be anything else? No. Can it be a carnation? So it can't be. Does it matter what the color is? No. It's an individual piece from God's creation that's here to be admired and appreciated by us. And it says, thank you. And what are you? You know, you stop and think about it. What are you? Why are you here? Are you here just to take up space and be grumpy? Oh, you don't know the problems I've got. You don't know I have bills. Okay, and I keep creating more bills. And it's ironic because we have been trained to criticize, condemn, and complain. Okay, and all I'm saying is you can say that all you want to, and the rose is not going to change. However, we've been given free will. We've been given choice of what to think. We're children of God, created in the image, so we've been given the ability to think and to speak. Isn't that neat? And what have we done with it? Now, it's not wrong. I mean, you're not broken. Please understand that. Because we still have who we are. See, we're still a rose, no matter what. And if you want to be a red rose, that's fine. If you want to be a black rose, that's fine. Whatever it is. But where each of us here is here to express the divinity that we are. Now, one of the problems occurs is when I express something that other people don't like. Okay? Now, is that a determination whether I should express it or not? No. Okay, as long as it's in divine order, whatever the divinity is. So it's very interesting to say. Now, I'm way off where I was planned to be, because I thought about the rose, and the more I thought about it, it's a perfect example of who you are. Complete and whole, just as you are. Okay? Now, this rose will, and you're going to take it home. You'll promise you are. But you take it home and put it in a holder for water, and it's going to grow. And it's going to kind of shrivel up and go away. Is there another rose right behind it exactly the same? Not exactly the same, but it's going to have the same purpose to help you enjoy it. All you have to do is go to H-E-B and buy more. But you understand, see, all we have to do is go down to express who we are out in the world, and we become like the rose. Now, what is the message you have to share? See, we can't determine that. Your message is different than my message. I happen to be sitting here talking. I'm the one that you agreed you'd listen to me. And I have to figure out what I'm going to talk about on Sundays, and then I spend a couple hours figuring it out and don't do it anyway. Because the inspiration occurs. So why are we here? We're here to inspire, be inspired, and to express who we are. Okay? Anybody been on social media lately?
No. Yeah.
You spend a lot of time there.
Unfortunately.
No, well, you put out good. Now, I can't determine what you listen to or what you do, but you put out good.
No, I try to.
Yeah.
Taking the good, yeah.
See, I get his stuff. And he says good things, okay? So you are putting good things out. Appreciate that. But again, who influences us? Who do we listen to? Okay, are we like the rose being a rose, or are we like the whatever it is being whatever it decides to do by somebody else? So here we are. So the idea here is gratitude and appreciation are part of the spiritual path. And the spiritual path says everything that happens on purpose. Now, this rose needs to be in water. Would you agree it lasts longer if we leave it with the original plant other than cut it off? But the conversation is, what are we doing to take care of ourselves? What are we doing to take care of the spiritual stuff that we are? Okay, now we worry about the physical self and all the senses and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to get into all that. But the idea is we are here to be spiritually fed, and that has to happen on our own by expressing who we are. And for some reason, we think we can show up on church on Sunday and everything's going to be okay. Now, we do a good job here on Sunday. However, we're really not that good. Because it's up to you to do the work that's necessary. Okay? A lot of you sit here, and I know I'm sitting here. The world out there, anybody know how many people we've got coming in? We haven't checked that recently coming in on Facebook. YouTube. Anyway, we know that over 100 people are opening our newsletter. So people are being fed ideas that make a difference. And that's all we have to do is express love and appreciation. See, appreciation is a form of love. And it's interesting, we all show love differently. It took me about 6 months to get used to the way Tommy shares love.
Took me longer.
You get that? Okay, and anybody that knows Tommy knows exactly what I'm talking about. Because if he's not giving you a hard time, he doesn't love you. And I appreciate that, MJ.
I vouch for that. It's not giving you a hard time.
And I know he would appreciate that conversation. But what do we do to show love? And it's not, oh, I love you. Anybody familiar with words that don't make sense? Actions and thoughts create love. There's an energy. Each one of us is a frequency at a rate of vibration. And the vibration that goes out from us is determined on what we're thinking. And what we're thinking is, if we're thinking appreciation and love, that's what we're creating for others. Okay, now the world's a problem. Anybody here grow things? I know Larry does. Anybody else? Do you? Yeah. Do you have to take care of it? Yeah.
All the time.
You have to make sure it's in fertile ground. You have to make sure it's watered properly. It has to get fertilizer. What else does it have to do? You have to make sure the bugs don't get it. You see, all those are metaphors for our spiritual life. We have to make sure it's fed. We have to make sure it's fertilized. We have to make sure it gets enough water. We have to make sure it gets enough appreciation. We have to make sure it gets enough love from others. We have to put it into an environment where it can grow and not be withered. See, and we forget about that. Those are all things for us to foster. And that's all motherhood. See, motherhood is creation. Stop and think about it. Is there anything in the world we live in that wasn't created from nothing? Okay, and it's all an energy. It's an energy. And the energy generally is encapsulated in a seed or in a nut or in a wherever it is. It's an egg. There's all kinds of examples of motherhood or beginning or creation. And it needs to be taken care of. Anybody agree the other part of motherhood is the nurturing, the loving, the patting on the back? It's going to work out, honey, it's okay. And being there when I cry. So those are all things that we have to do in our creative ability to foster love and appreciation. So that it's very appropriate that gratitude and appreciation is falling on Mother's Day in our conversation. So I'm going to hand this to Sharon. I appreciate you. Everybody's going to get one, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Thank you for the creativeness that you want. Now, I better look at my notes to check what I'm talking about. I do have something else I want to share with you. See, the idea of seed, that's the idea of seed or the egg is within you. So the idea of perfection is within you. And we hear it over and over and over again, the kingdom of heaven is within. It's the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. The Father and I are one. Over and over and over again. And hopefully it starts sinking in. Okay? But again, I've been reading Choose Only Love. And I do want to make a statement. We are here to share spiritual ideas with a spiritual group. Everybody get it? That's different, rah, let's all go get excited and enthusiasm. Used to teach enthusiasm all the time. And it's an important part of it. Entheos comes from two Greek words, meaning enthusiasm, entheos for God within. But it's really God within is the conversation. You can make people feel better, but sooner or later they sink back into the dirt that isn't nurturing, if I can use a metaphor for you. But the idea is become aware of who we really are through our spiritual path and reach the point where we become enlightened or aware that we're a child of God. So that's our walk. And there's times frankly, I have to go back there and really realize what we're here to do. So we're not here to make everybody feel good, we're here to make you good. Help you become the person that you are, and nobody else can do that for you other than you. So, this is, again, for those of you that are willing to accept it, these are more words of Jesus spoken through a person, okay? And these came through in, I think, 2017. This is, by the way, this is book 7. And it says, in your being lies the wisdom of God. So what is the wisdom of God? What would the wisdom of God be to you? Somebody help. See, wisdom is what we're looking for. What do I do with my life? How do I treat my family? What kind of work should I do? Why am I in this situation? Why in my life, why do things keep happening the way I don't want them to happen? So it's an investigation, but the wisdom of God is there in you right now to help you make decisions. So it says, in your being lies the wisdom of God. Therefore, you already know what you are and how to manifest. Stop and think about that. You're a child of God. Okay? And you're the spark of creativity. You are that spark, that energy, that egg. So you already know how to manifest. You just allow people to not allow you to manifest. Because in me, I'm still working, am I good enough? You know, I'm not good enough. She understands that. And you are good enough, you're a child of God. So, and then it goes on and says, when your being was created, it was also endowed with the innate ability to do so without effort, just as the sun makes no effort to shine. As a matter of fact, anybody agree you have to get out of the sun once in a while? Okay, the sun's going to shine, whether we know it or not, and you're going to shine because you are created in the image and likeness. You have to see the perfection. Can I read this again? It says, in your being lies the wisdom of God. Therefore, you already know what you are. So somebody help me, what are you? Child of God. Everybody take that in. I am a child of God. I'm here to express that divinity. Okay? Then it goes on and says, when your being was created, now when we were created, see, this is the part that I really don't understand. Because if I was created in the beginning, as we all are, when was the beginning? Okay, and how long have I been around, and how long have you been around? Okay? That's one of the mysteries of life. Anybody have an answer, by the way? If you do, let me know. But see, these are the mysteries. We gallop into this and we say, oh, here we are. I guess I have to get along, and then we get on with the world around us, forgetting who we are. Now, and then it says, it was also endowed with the innate ability to do so, which is manifest whatever you need, just as the sun makes no effort to shine. And to me, that's an amazing, amazing conversation. I still have a hard time. I'm going to go read this again. Romans 8:28, because it's been a difficult chapter for me. And Romans, for those of you who want to study the Bible, is full of all kinds of good things. Romans 8:28. Romans 8:28. And I'm going to read it. Okay. And we know that all things work together for good to them who love God. Okay, now, let me get clear. When it says all things, what does that include? Everything. My relationships, my work life, my car, how it runs.
Your computer.
My computer, which always needs work. But if you hear how I hold that, it's gonna mess up again. And of course, I believe I keep creating that. All things. Well, you know that jerk next door, this or that. See, we make up these stories, and then the stories play out in our life. So all things work together for good. And I've told you, why am I here in Austin? Okay. And X number of years ago, really, I've heard the story. I was a general manager over 4 states doing all kinds of things. And the company was purchased by an outside company, and they changed management. Anybody familiar with that? Which means they let the old management go and put new management in. So I was in the category of old management. I did a 3-month, or golden, whatever they call it. And today I wouldn't be here if that hadn't occurred. But at the time, anybody agree? I thought the world was coming to an end. Madeline, I had to come home and tell her that I just was laid off. Okay, and I use that as an example that how many times in our life have we had a crisis that we were concerned about that really turned around and worked out for us. Okay. Even sickness, I would think about it, sometimes the sickness makes sure that we're okay. In other words, we heal a situation that needed to be healed. So I'm just using that as an example, and think and look at your own life, and And everything works together for good, which is a hard thing to take in when it ain't good. Okay? Now, I could go on talking, but I've reached enough. I would like to open it. I want you to understand creation. Anybody have a definition for the word creation? Think about the word creation.
Birth.
What?
To birth.
To birth?
To make,
Anybody have a literal definition?
to make,
Say it again.
to make.
To make. See, that to make, and to birth, to make means creating something with my hands or with things that are available. Okay?
To bring into existence something that only existed in thought.
To bring into existence or to bring into matter or form something that exists only in thought. Something that did not exist in the universe before might be some kind of thing. So you have the ability to create from nothing. Stop and think about Larry when he plays the guitar. Have you ever heard him chording? And all he's doing is bringing music in from his consciousness. You see, we're influenced by everything. I did want to talk about the chants that Larry brings in. See, the thing to understand is we are influenced by frequencies. And we get frequencies of sound, frequencies of what we see, frequencies of what we hear, frequencies that are invisible, that we know are there. We are influenced by frequencies. And deep within your consciousness is a subconscious belief in everything that has ever occurred. So the chant that we did this morning is from an ancient African language that you somewhere in your consciousness have an awareness of. Other chants come in, and if anybody understands going back, the population of the world evidently started either in Africa or in Nepal area, and that's Sanskrit, which we do a Sanskrit chant, then we're over here doing an African chant. So we're looking at deep, deep, deep roots of consciousness, and we're making decisions about things we really aren't aware of. However, God within is there, creating those for you. That's why we have thoughts. Anybody ever had a thought that's completely outrageous? That's God saying, wake up. So what are you capable of? What are you allowed to do within yourself? And what have you been sold that you're capable of rather than what you are? Okay, so we've got a great group here. It's time to, that group is growing. We've got people coming in from everywhere. As a matter of fact, on left, we got people at a birthday party today. We have people that were at a wedding in Wyoming today that aren't here. We got people, things are happening. But the main thing is what's happening in your life. And are you creating a life that's new rather than the same old thing repeating over and over and over? So thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. I've said enough. Okay, now,